and welcome to Tech Circle. Today we are joined by Ayyagari, Startup Ecosystem Manager at Google India. So Casey, what ecosystem is Google looking to create around its services?
Actually working with startups for a long time, and the primary reason why we are working actually is if you keep your grass green, it actually helps everyone. I mean, it's an ecosystem building activity which we've been doing before even Google Cloud or Google has its own ventures and stuff. So Google was born in a garage, if you look at, and the garage side, the same idea of giving the garage experience is what Google for Entrepreneurs, which is Google for Startups, which we are doing right now. And Google has cloud services, so giving the cloud services. Cloud is actually Google's own technology which we exposed outside. We've been building we have 8+ products for last 18 years we've been building it. And if you look at Maps, YouTube, runs on some infrastructure. And that's exactly what we exposed. We wanted to give that to the startups. Google has best mentors who are ex-startup entrepreneurs, ex-startup CEOs, CXOs we hire internally, and they're working on our products. We want them to actually teach the startups on how to best do the work. And that's what Launchpad, that mentoring activity, which we actually wanted to bring the best of mentoring.
And so what are the programs under Google for Startups? Like, are there various programs?
Yes, there are. The Launchpad is one, Google Cloud for Startups, which I take care, is one, Google for Startups is one, and there are Sandhill, which is primarily targeted to Series B and C companies. There are developer relations programs. There are plethora of programs which are intended for a specific use case, a specific section of audience. We are we are vertical agnostic. We don't look at like retail and all. By the way, there is an app store program, Google Play programs, which helps to build the app excellence is kind of a program. We have Indie Gaming Accelerator supporting gaming companies in the world. So we have different channels for different verticals and sectors, mostly targeted towards mentorship and technology support.
So what is your role like? What are the things you take care of at Google? Like,
so my primary focus area is actually like, for example, imagine you're a startup and you wanted to bring out a product. See, end of the day, how much we talk, it's all about building the product. Like, I can do a pitch all day long, and end of the day, if there is no product to build and showcase within 6 months or 1 month, if I don't have an MVP, I'm not going to go anywhere. So my program is giving them, offsetting their cost on MVP and giving them a mentorship on how to build the product quickly to the market, using the best of what Google can actually provide. I'll give you an example. You can do, you wanted to filter out spam messages, think of this way, you're a startup who wanted to do sentiment analysis, or your product sentiment when the product got released. You got Twitter feed. So how do you understand audience sentiment when the product was out? You can think different ways. In Google Cloud, there is an API which does NLP, do sentiment analysis of a tweet. So just integrate the tweets with an API, we would actually give you a consolidation of your sentiment on a product release.
And also, before this, you were with IBM, and
I worked with multiple companies. I worked in
what was
Microsoft.
Your background like?
So I worked in Microsoft as a solution architect for most of my life, like 5 years there. The last job being a solution architect, I was into pre-sales, sales. I was a technical architect. I joined Google as an engineer and then moved eventually to program manager. So I can talk tech. So I'm a certified solution architect on Google Cloud right now. So it's a kind of mix of both worlds for me, where I do the program management. I'm still a certified architect on it. So, and then move to startups, is it something new, the whole concept? Or? No, so I worked, like, for example, in Microsoft, I worked with all the corporates, most of the corporates, because that was a time where Azure was also, like, the cloud for them is also very new. So I came from that area and actually joined Google Cloud, which is also kind of a cloud for us. And startups are kind of miniature enterprises for me. They have their own merits and demerits, but end of the day, kind of experience helped me to actually tide up this. And I also work with state governments in India to make sure that their startups get access of Google Cloud resources. By the way, my program gives $3,000, $20,000, $100,000 worth of Google Cloud credits, which actually substantiate your product building. The credits actually, write off a lot of things for a startup. So that's something which I handle. So my team is distributed. Tel Aviv, London, myself, Bangalore, East Coast, West Coast.
Do you work out of India?
Yeah, and Singapore. So these are the major hubs our team operate on. and I take care of India operations on that.
So how do you pick startups? Like for here, Spaces, you have partnered with 91 Springboards. What about other specific sectors or areas?
So cloud for startups we don't choose because we are not VCs here. We don't want to invest, and our criteria doesn't always work. So what we did when I started this program in India, by the way, 3 years back when I started this, we took a conscious decision that we wanted to build a platform which is kind of like YouTube. For example, imagine a old lady from Tamil Nadu uploading cooking videos, earn crores of money on YouTube. Can happen only if the platform is open. So we created a program which is open for everyone who can apply for Google Cloud for credits. If they choose to continue working with us, they can actually get upgrades on the credits. So you get $3,000 worth of credits.
And what's the benefit for Google in this?
It's very simple. As I said, it's always good to have. See, end of the day, if you look at all the ecosystems, everything is built on the partnership on how you work with. Like you build a massive platform which is, think of you're a startup and you build a massive platform. I don't need to replicate that. We can work with each other, and we have marketplace with Google you can actually put your product and resell it if you wanted to. You can be a SaaS partner to us. You can be a tech partner to us. So there are my wide variety of partnership programs if you are interested in actually working with us in a long term. So that's a kind of model which is win-win for everyone. It also keeps your pockets full for a long term. So that's a kind of way we wanted to work with that's happening at this point also in a way.
What are your hobbies? Like what do you do after work, apart from work?
I'm a trained bartender, so I make my own cocktails. In fact, I have an app, Take Your Selfie, which actually tells you which cocktail to drink based on your mood and the time of the day and the temperature of the day and the place of the day. So it's a machine learning plus, I'm a developer, so it's a machine learning based cocktail recommendation app. It's what the fish should I drink.
And what does the whole ecosystem look like, the startup ecosystem to you in India? The scenario looks like, which are the sectors that look quite attractive going ahead?
Personally, I can say there are so many. One of them would be obviously, this is a trend which I'm observing. If a sector really is interesting, you will see 100 startups within 2 days coming up in that sector. So right now, last few months, I saw healthcare like that. Like everyone actually gets into healthcare in a different domain. Prediction as a service.
In terms of investment also, I'm asking, which are the sectors a lot of investment you see going into?
The B2C, obviously. I don't look at, as I said, I'm not looking at specific verticals, but fascinating part is anything which is actually creating platforms. I'm intruded with, I should confess this, I am intruded with a startup which is called Cred.
Oh, yeah.
So they're doing fantastic work. Yeah. Basically, when I started using their app, I thought, why was that app actually helping you to pay the credit card bills? Yeah. I didn't understand the big picture. Frankly speaking, I thought it was more of a bill management system. And there are Freecharge and Paytms. Why was this coming into picture? So they're creating a trustworthy network of people, which is actually creating a platform, and that fascinates me. So I see a lot of investments going into these, which is open bank, SMB, open bank to SMB sector, Cred, and there is one more company who does AR/VR. So anything which has a platform and tools, I see has a lot of value, and people are actually funding them. In my purview, they're funding a lot.
And what sort of technology you love on a daily basis? What are the sort of technologies you use?
So I am a hardcore .NET developer. So my dev machine is Windows, and I run my code on C#, Visual Studio, VS Code, over the top Google Cloud Services, and Python and Java. So I'm a kind of interesting stack. I have my existential criteria. So it's a kind of learning and obviously the Docker containers. So it's a kind of both worlds matching for me. Windows worlds and open source worlds coming together for me is kind of area which I work on.